I definitely believe in the law of attraction and manifestation, and my understanding of it is the shit I just told y'all. I can make whatever the fuck I want happen through those two things. Manifesting it and just understanding that putting the energy out is gonna come right back in. Shit, look at me. I manifested my whole career, like just off of wanting to do this shit. I done rapped this shit 1,000 times over and I told everybody around me this is what I was gonna do and this is what the fuck I'm doing. You can look at me now and then look at me in the past, and this is exactly what I said I was gonna be. So I use this shit every day.
Visualization. So I took myself from being very average-minded to actually believing that I was the shit and believing that I could be the shit and that I could be the GOAT and be the greatest and never lose into, like, I took myself to a different place mentally, and a lot of it came from mental practice and meditation and visualization and just seeking knowledge from people who are strong believers, guys like Les Brown and Tony Robbins and guys like that. I just became really obsessed with just learning about the power of the mind. So I used to meditate. Now I just kind of, I have a lot of things that stuck with me, a lot of ways of believing that stuck with me that just subconsciously I know who I am, what I'm capable of, and how I believe, and how powerful my mind actually is.
How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction and it will become reality. I knew he would overextend and I knew I'd catch him. So Mystic Mac strikes again.
As a neuroscientist, what do you attribute when people talk about visualization? And visualization is it's a huge factor in improving technical skills, specifically martial arts, which is I'm a big fan of, obviously. Martial arts, when you visualize, people who visualize, who sit down and like go over their body, going through the motions and doing things, those people perform better. They perform better. They learn quicker. What do you attribute that to? Do you think it's the same thing as what's happening when you're sleeping, just maybe to a lesser extent?
I think it's to a lesser extent, but people have done those studies where they've looked at sort of whether you actually physically practice, let's say on a keyboard, just because it's easier to sort of manage in a laboratory, versus just imagining sort of typing out that sequence, and just the act of physical visualization of sort of imagination of that motor skill, it's about 50% as effective as physically performing it too, and it's 50% as effective, what I mean there is, in changing the plastic connections within the brain.
I mean, for me, when I got to a swim meet, there's nothing that I can control at that point, right? I can control what I do and how I prepare, sort of getting up behind the block and just racing. I can't control what anybody else does. So for me, I want to know how the race could go, how I don't want the race to go, and in a perfect world, how the race should go. Because it all goes back to preparation. If you're not preparing yourself before the meet, you're not going to get a time you deserve. So for me, I have to make sure I'm doing all the work leading up to a big meet so that I get behind the block and I don't have to think about anything else. I'm not worried about how I prepared. So I started visualizing at like 13, 14, just so everything around me was taken care of when I got to a meet, so I could be completely relaxed. So when I put my headphones on, all I'm thinking about is the music. I get to go up and just do what I practice to do. All of those countless hours of staring at the black line at the bottom of the pool, that was for this moment. So I just never really thought when I got behind the block and let everything do what was supposed to happen. If I didn't get the results that I wanted, then I would just go back to the drawing board. And that's really just how I worked my whole life. But I mean, visualizing just, it just mentally prepares you and you can kind of check that box off. And I think that's what we wanted to do. Every time we got to a major international competition, we wanted to check off as many boxes as we could. Because if we did that, then what else do we have to worry about? Everything else is just going to happen naturally like it should.
I'm a firm believer in meditation because I believe that human beings can get caught up, especially someone involved in a very difficult endeavor like you are. You can get caught up in the momentum of your life. And sometimes it's very hard to reset. It's very hard to separate yourself from it and get a balanced and, as much as you can, objective perspective. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to take time where you sit and you close your eyes and you do nothing. And just concentrate on your breathing and just set it all aside and extract yourself, extract your consciousness from the momentum of your life. And I think a lot of people don't do that, and they get caught up in this hurricane of existence where everything's just constantly going on. Your phone won't stop ringing. There's fucking people knocking at your door. You got this going on, that going on. You got to go catch this flight, and oh shit, you got a fight coming up, and oh shit, you got this and that. And sometimes you lose yourself.
Yeah.
You lose yourself in that wave of life.
I definitely lost myself at one point in my life. And I feel like right now I'm at this position where I am myself, and I can see John Bones Jones, and I'm like, I can like look at my career from a fan perspective. You get what I'm saying? And actually make fun of myself. Like, damn, you fucking idiot. like, what have you done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have a good way of detaching something inside of me and seeing what's happening. And okay, oh no, it's not over. All you gotta do is just do this, do that, do that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily meditating these days, but I do have the capability of taking away who I actually am at this point and realizing that this is just a part of me, or this is just a situation in my life. This isn't my actual life. This isn't my final destination. This is just a small moment in time that I'm going through right now. You get what I'm saying?
Right. I get what you're saying.
So that's my form of meditation. I step away from terrible situations and look at myself as if it's the future, and I'm looking back on what's happened to me or what's happening, and I say, okay, how can I get myself out of this? How can I make this better? What do I need to do to turn this around? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Instead
No, I do
of
get what
being
you're saying.
completely immersed in the moment and thinking that, oh, I can't get out of it,
And the biggest thing I think that really separated me through my career was my mental game. Everything that was in between my ears. Like for me, it's just, I eventually got to the point where I was competing against myself because I was so hard on myself. And, you know, for me to improve, I had to get stronger mentally, and I had to find a way to do it. And I think my coach helped me get through that process and learn more. So for me, like when I would visualize, I visualize every single, getting up to a meet, I would visualize probably a month or so in advance, just of what could happen, what I want to happen, and what I don't want to happen. Because when it happened, I was prepared for it.